Hey there, folks. We live now. Someone you can live on the rain on your parade. Huh? Good and all in the basement with a McLemore, where the truth comes out. In the basement, y'all. Let me pour you a drink and just relax on your thing. If you need a good friend, a friend to the end, we're in the basement with a McLemore, where the truth comes out. I want to get rid of that. Hey folks, hey folks, hey folks. It's me, your host, Bryant McLemore Smith, with the music still playing. Got to figure out how to turn it off. But we're in the basement with McLemore, where the truth comes out. And the funny thing is that this is the best show on the radio at 4:30 on a Monday. It's probably the only show on the radio on 4:30 on a Monday. So we're going to just keep on keeping on. I wonder how everybody's doing out there in radio land. Today we got an amazing show for you. We've been doing a lot of things, just trying to prepare. But right now I want to just tell some of our sponsors that we said hello, and then we're going to bring my trusty sidekick, my bestie, none other than Steve Dunagan, up to the screen. So, hey, Steve-O, how are you?
Here.
What's going on, buddy?
The East Coast is cool. A little bit. It got a little warmer today. Just different. Today is the first, and we'll talk about this later on. Today was the first day back to the office for a full day week after
Wow.
a month, after a year and a half of COVID restrictions. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I bet you people are apprehensive. Well, good. We'll save that for a topic. Right now,
Yes,
we wanna pay some bills. Let's hear from the Armor Group. You guys
pay
stand
those
by.
bills.
Pay those bills, baby.
Transformation is a courageous and necessary act. Set a course for the future. Discover your organization's true potential. Contact Dr. Regina Armor and find the tools, structure, and organizational techniques to improve your bottom line and fulfill your mission. Contact Dr. Regina Armor at The Armor Group. www.armourgrp.net. That's www.armourgrp.net. So
One more.
Creole, an American food from breakfast to dinner, plus cocktails on a Sunday brunch and casual digs. Sounds like Josephine Southern cooking to me. To own a restaurant is a labor of love. To own a soul food restaurant for 35 years is to be a service to people in a manner that extends beyond the bounds of hospitality. Josephine Southern Cooking, the place to come and have a fantastic down-home Southern meal. Josephine Southern Cooking, 436 East 79th Street, Chicago, Illinois. Also known as Captain Hardtime. So Creole, inspired by capturing people in their natural state, James Washington is Maceo's Photo, a Chicago-based photography studio specializing in portraits, headshots, weddings, lifestyle, and commercial photography. Contact James Washington at 708-568-1421 or hit him up on the website at maceosphotos.net. That's MaceoPhoto.net. James Washington, Maceo's Photo. In the basement with Mac.
All righty. So we've actually done our thing, Steve-O. We paid our bills up front, and you guys be patient with me today because I'm manning the fort down. Miss Katie Lowe, our producer, is in the room, but she's teaching me to be more independent. And sometimes you got to push the baby bird out the nest. So I'm out the nest today, y'all. Just like, yeah, yeah. So I wanted to talk. So I went to lunch today at Medici, Steve. You remember Medici in Hyde Park?
Oh, yes, that's bringing me high school memories.
I had not been there in many years, and went today. Food is still good. It's still like a little confined space, but they got a rooftop, and the food was really good. It brought back some long time memories. So
Of
I enjoyed Medici, folks, and this is not free advertisement for Medici, but for those of you that are hungry, it's still on 57th Street. It's amazing.
Did you get deep dish pizza
I
or
didn't. I
something?
got I wanted to try the black bean veggie burger, which is something I never do because I'm always. But it was in the middle of the day, and I didn't want to be sleeping for the radio show, so
Yeah,
I did
as
something light.
deep dish pizza will do.
Yeah, I didn't want to lay down. So I'm so excited about today's show. We had amazing weather today here in Chicago. It was 68 degrees and sunny, no winds, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Nice.
So we've got one of my newfound friends coming on with us in a little bit on the show, Mr. Charles Pryor. I mean, this boy is bad.
Oh,
He's a trumpeter, but he's a master of music. I think he does a little bit of everything. So I'm excited about that. But let's talk a little bit about this going back to work.
yeah.
Man, what is that like? People have been home for over a year.
Well, leading up to the day that we were leading up to this day, there was a lot of course, we've been away since March of 2020. So people are, they're used to being at home.
Yeah,
Our offices are set up the way that we want to. I think a lot of people have made a lot of arrangements, like maybe like childcare, taking care of parents around working from home, which has been a blessing too.
yeah,
And I don't have any, I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any children issues or family issues here in New Jersey anyway. So I was cool with coming back a few days a week. Now, looking at it from a health perspective and the way that there are still cases still floating around in adults, and there are
yeah.
also new cases in kids too, although they're now able to be vaccinated. I just don't know about being around everybody 5 days a week.
I know, and especially now. So, is it a requirement that everybody's vaccinated?
Well, you don't have to. It's in our state. You don't have to be vaccinated, but if you're not, you have to be tested. Well, we all have to have our temperature checked as soon as we get in the building,
Okay.
and those that are not vaccinated have to get tested on their own dime several times a week and have to bring the results to the human resources liaison. So
Wow.
I think they're going to get real tired of that really soon. So whatever their reason for not being, assuming that it's not a medical issue, I think they're going to probably get tired of that after a few weeks, and maybe they will go ahead and get vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I've talked to several people that have not been vaccinated, and their fights and their reasonings are legitimate in their mind, but like they're not in mine. I don't understand. Like after you see, first a quarter of a million people dead, then a half a million people dead, then we reach that peak and we've more people died in like what is the Vietnam War.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm confused as to even my friends and my colleagues that I thought were of sound mind and reasonable. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to infringe on anybody's rights, of course,
Believe.
to what but I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what is it? I don't get it.
I don't either. And the reasons just I know I'm really logic minded. And so if you're gonna tell me you're not gonna do something, I need to hear the logical reason for not. So to say I don't want to get it because I heard that a lot of people are having issues and there's all these people are dying. I said, tell me where these people are dying. Give me figures. Give me cities and states where these people are dying from directly from receiving the vaccination, and nobody can come up with anything.
You know
Then
why?
there
Because
goes that
hearsay.
yeah, I don't want to do it. They can't make me do anything like that. Okay, now we're going back to childhood. You're where you're telling your parent you can't make me. Well, if you
You
would like
really
to risk
can.
yourself dying, feel free. I don't know what else to tell you,
You,
but I'm just freaking out over people who are leaving jobs because they don't want to get it.
there was a couple that left the police force, the husband and the wife. Now I can imagine. I don't know how much money they had saved, and God bless them. But I can imagine losing two incomes that are coming into your house because you are feeling like somebody's forcing you to do something. What you and I being from a generation, and probably our guest Charles is a little bit younger than us when he comes on, are from the generation where people we had to get shots in order to go to school, or you
Right,
couldn't come to school. And they
right,
would bring those people in there. I remember people crying and carrying on, falling out because they didn't want to get the shot. However, that was to serve the greater good as opposed to me saying I'm not getting a shot and then not being able to go to school with my classmates because I would have rather endured that than not being able to go to school.
right.
So what's the difference between 40 years ago and now? You saying that you have rights in order to make us all uncomfortable? Oh, I'm over the whole thing.
And I don't. And that exposure, so you're not vaccinated, so you can easily catch it. You may easily catch it and pass it on to your mother who's
Right,
80, your
right.
dad who's
Our
90
grandma who's in the
and
nursing home.
frail. And so
Or
if they get infected from you through you and they die, or let's not say die, become become very, very sick because you did not want to
Explosive,
get
yeah.
vaccinated, is that worth it?
No, I don't think it's worth it. Well,
Um,
I don't think there's an easy fix to it, and unfortunately, people like me, with me working in the public side, I didn't get a chance to ever stay home. There was that month or two where the stores were closed, and downtown was a ghost town. But right when retail was back up, I've been in the throes of public the whole time. Like there was no work from home for retail. You don't get to stay home and sell shit. Excuse my French. So me, I was gonna hurry up and see what I could do to protect myself, not only with masks and gloves and hats and whatever you need to do. I
mhm.
didn't get the choice. So there's no easy fix for that. But I wish you the best, my brother, and everybody that is returning to work. Woosah.
Yeah.
And then
Is there anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat want to comment? Is there anybody in the chat?
I don't have anybody on the ground. I was hoping that Dawn came in, but I don't see her comments now. But if she does, I'll bring it back. So on
Okay.
another note,
Yes.
Saturday I went to see the Fannie Lou Hamer story at the Goodman Theater. Oh my God,
Wow.
it was amazing. So first of all, I want to give a pay homage to my brother in the struggle, who has gone on to be with the Lord, Mr. Michael Allen Stein, who designed the costumes for the Fannie Lou Hamer show and subsequently passed away before the show aired. So I went in his stead. I sat in the box in his stead. I really felt not only her energy but his energy during through the costumes, and I didn't have one critique as the costume designer, but the show is amazing. So I think it runs here in Chicago through December 5th. So if you guys have not seen the Fannie Lou Hamer story at the Goodman Theater, it's a must see. This one woman show with a three-piece band in the back, and that's all. Costume changes are all on. It's there's no intersect yeah, there's no break. What do I want to say? Intercession.
No, an
It
intermission.
goes straight through. It's just really, really, really very informative and something that not only African American people should see, but white people and people of all colors should see because none of us, the struggle is about all of us. And if one of us is not winning, then all of us aren't winning.
Sounds
Um,
good. Sounds like a good bet.
yeah, it's a good bet. So have you got any productions out in New Jersey you want to talk about before we bring on our star of the show?
Unfortunately, I don't know of any in the immediate area of Trenton. I'm afraid I have nothing to report.
Yeah, right. Well, Trenton is really hopping this time of year.
No, but no,
Ah,
really, there's a great playhouse here called Passages. A friend of mine, Damien, was the managing, um, not director, but the behind the manager of
the man.
everything outside of directing, and he recently departed. But Passages Theater actually does have lots of quality productions here in Trenton, I must say.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
when I come down, I'll have to come during the time when they have something going on because I did walk the streets of Trenton when I was there just to get a feel for it. And I mean, I love history, so I'm not gonna beat Trenton up, but there really wasn't much happening on every corner. Then up in Trenton, folks. So I do want to mention again, you guys stay tuned for those of you guys that just came in. Our special guest today is Mr. Charles Pryor. This guy's amazing. He's going to perform for us. We're going to interview him. He's pretty much our show. Normally, our shows have 4 or 5 different people on, but I really wanted you guys to get the width and the breadth of this musician. This brother and I just met not recently. I actually walked up to him performing, said I want him to be on my show, and then I got his information and called him. And the cool thing was when I did talk to him, he and I had a connection. I understood his connection. He's a father, he's a musician, and he's all these other things that he'll explain to himself. But before I bring Mr. Charles Pryor out, I just want to let you guys know don't go anywhere. Tomorrow, I'm being interviewed on the Cinda Williams podcast, Grown Folks Talking. So you guys can find that on. She says it's on Spotify. So PPC podcast on Spotify. This show has just been picked up by Apple Podcast. Yay! See, we're going to be streaming
Nice.
live. So, Apple Podcast, you guys, we're streaming live right now on Apple Podcast. This is our 16th show. Praise God. We've been doing this for
Praise God.
16 consecutive Mondays. We still give a shout out to our original co host, my other longtime friend, Mr. Harold Abrams, who I talked
Hey,
to.
Harold.
Hey, Harold, we want to say what's up in New York, Harold. And then, so you guys tune into www.grownfolkstalking.com. And that is Cinda Williams, aka known as, you know her to play Clark in Mo Better Blues.
Something blues. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mo Better Blues. She's a good friend of mine, an amazing woman. But without further ado, you guys stay tuned because I want to bring on our next guest and our only guest today. Show's dedicated today to the man, the musician, the myth, Mr. Charles Pryor. Let's bring Charles on out and add him to the stream. Hey, Charles. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Mr. Charles.
Unmute your mic. I think your mic is muted. I had you sitting back there so long. You gotta turn your mic on. Uh, give you 1 second. Okay, we need to turn your mic on. We'll give you a second. Do I need to text you? Hold on a minute.
Do you see down below? Mute.
Okay, so Charles, can you hear me? All right, so we can't hear you. So go to wherever you signed in and unmute the mic on the screen.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Gotcha.
There you go.
There you go. Yay!
Yeah, I was going back to my interface. I had so many problems before, like last minute stuff that I'm like, oh, I had it crashed again. Something just went wrong when it's just at the bottom of the screen to hit unmute.
Yep, well, that's all right, good, brother. Welcome to In the Basement with McLemore. This is my bestie and my co-host, Mr. Stephen Dunagan.
Okay. Hey,
well,
Charles.
Nice to meet you. Yep, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is Charles Pryor. So, Charles, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you get started in the music thing, and what instruments do you master? Because I don't want to call a trumpet a sax and a sax a trumpet, and you know how people get it wrong.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay. The funny part about it is that I have saxophone players that tell me that they said that I play the trumpet, and and then with me playing the trumpet, everybody say, "Hey, come on, blow your sax or bring your sax,"
Right.
Then some people would just say horn, but I think the saxophone is more common depending on the style of music that a person listens to. Mm-hmm. And trumpet is not expected, in a lot of cases. Every instrument has its own challenges, but if you told somebody, "Oh, I'm a horn player," then they're going to automatically assume saxophone. They're not going to assume you play the trumpet.
But I call them all that now. And then I went home, and what I have is a trumpet that I can't play it, but I can blow it when
that's all right. Yeah.
I can blow it when it's time, but I'm no. Matter of fact, Steve will tell you when you come to my house, there's instruments all over the place, so you can't come with an excuse saying, "Oh, I wish I had brought my horn."
Horn,
and plenty of mics.
And I got mics all over.
Plenty of mics.
Yeah, I normally don't. Some musicians they get bent out of shape. I normally don't get bent out of shape when it comes to that. A lot of the younger musicians that have egos, they have to be 100% right and address everything. Yeah, I'm more laid back. You get to a point to where I'm the kind of person that could disagree with you about everything. They'll show you love. They'll do it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care what it is that we disagree about. I'm that kind of person that just show you love. So you have some people that don't like trumpet players. They, I don't want a sax. I don't want a trumpet. I'm like, okay, well, let me go find you a sax.
How long have you been playing, and how did you get your start?
I've been playing on and off all my life. My father taught me as a kid. Coming up watching him play, and I never thought that coming up. It was more like a hobby during my childhood. Even though somebody paying close attention to me, they would have looked at me and said, this boy is going to be a musician. At my auntie, she used to have one of the hi-fi systems that sit on the floor. You all know how the turntable in the middle, and so I would fall asleep watching that turntable. And I mean, at that point, with me being a parent now, I'm thinking back to my parents, like, that wasn't a light bulb click on to say this boy is in love with music. This boy is going to be a musician some way, somehow. It's in his blood. And by my father playing the trumpet, he went to DuSable, came up under Captain Diet. So that's where I got my discipline from with the trumpet through my father. Plus he was military, and he's a trumpet player. So you can't tell a trumpet player I practice and you did practice. So at the time it was difficult, it was hard, but I'm grateful for that now. So as the years went by, I played in high school, and coming up in Chicago, I was a typical Chicago teenager. So again, I'm not trying to tell on anybody, but if we look at what's going on in Chicago now, and I say I was a typical Chicago teenager, those that know what Chicago is know that playing the trumpet wasn't even a thought in my mind when I was 18 and 19.
No, that was nowhere near.
That was nowhere near. But I had such a strong foundation that it was a way for me to calm myself down and kind of deal with life, deal with real life situations. So even though my father taught me how to play, he didn't want me to be a trumpet player. He wanted me to go the corporate route. But what he did is that he turned me into a warrior with the trumpet because of that, because I had to fight against the most important person to me with the trumpet, which was him. Right. So it's a battle. Like most people think that it was an easy road and it was easy. I had to battle and fight through a lot of things to get to the point to where I am now. And it was a difficult journey, very, very difficult, to get to this point, to where I am now.
Are you teaching your son the art as well?
Yeah, yes, I'm definitely teaching him the art. And now I teach him music, and I definitely I would love him to be a musician, but I don't force it on him. I let him have fun with it. He loves to dance and loves to sing. So if you go to, Charles Pryor music, I have a couple of videos, well, actually more videos, I think, of him up on my YouTube channel than me, with him performing and really teaching him how to read. Now, that's what I want him about. I want him about learning how to read and just comprehension. I want him about that because I believe that,
that's the foundation.
Yeah, that's the foundation. Anybody could tell you anything, but this kid challenges me now. As a matter of fact,
reading and comprehension.
Yeah, he has made me more aware of different things that I was taught or branded with coming up, that now I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, like, I believe in tradition, I believe in foundation, but some things I look at and say, hey, this is wrong. And I'm the kind of person where I had to mature to the point to where it's like, yeah, we could disagree. Oh, you may feel this way, I feel this way, but I'm gonna still show you love. And not only that, but if you're willing to teach me, then I'm willing to learn. And I'm definitely willing to teach you, because just because I feel a certain way, it doesn't mean that I know it all, or it doesn't mean that I'm winning. It doesn't mean that I'm right or that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that you're right or wrong. But if we can come together and learn, then I think that that's something to where we could reach, a lot of the children that's coming up. And
that's amazing. Let me ask you something. Tell me a little bit about the street performing piece, because when I met you in Hyde Park performing across from Pizza Capri, and you were so amazing that I came back again because you had your whole production setting up there, and the sound coming from that trumpet was, that's why I thought it was a saxophone, because it was so sultry, and it had an extension of your personality came out at the end of that horn, and that's what caught my attention. What is performing on the streets of Chicago like? What goes along with that? Being humble, being the humility, being humble, the sharing and the greeting, and what are the pluses and the minuses of that?
Yeah, well, okay. In Chicago, in particular, the minuses are definitely when it gets cold outside. That's a done deal.
What you say? Yes, that's over with.
That's a wrap. Now, when I was younger, when I first started street performing back in early 2000, somewhere around 2003, 2004, I was younger then. I was hot headed. So that means that I was like, well, it's Chicago. I'm not taking it off nobody, but I play the trumpet. And this is what I want to do to make a living. I had just decided. I mean, I was always to the point where I didn't want nobody telling me what to do anyway. That's why school, that didn't really work for me, because, when I was older, like I went to Simeon, but then I transferred to another school. And I'm going to show you how this relates to what I'm telling you about street performing and why I chose to do it. Same size I am now, 16, 17 years old. And the teachers expect for me to raise my hand and get permission to go use the washroom.
Wow.
And when I would get up and walk out of class, but I learned that let me just take my books with me because I know that the teacher's gonna lock the door and not let me in. And I was okay with that. I went and hung out at the principal's office. I mean, and again, I nothing about me is traditional. Like things that people assume about me. People assume, oh, okay, well, you got to have a master's or a bachelor's degree. I said, I think they pushed me out of high school. I don't even know if I was supposed to graduate, but coming up, street performing, what it did is that it gave me a chance to be free from all the things that I was confined to and learn, growing up. Like it's a lot of things now that I was taught growing up that I feel that it was good that the education wise, but the structure and the foundation, it was very difficult because nobody took time to look at themselves. So when I started street performing, it was about me. I wanted to be this hot shot trumpet player. Then people started to come up to me and tell me their life stories, and, like serious things that's going on with them. And I'm saying to myself, like, wait a minute, I got to play my horn. I don't want to hear this about you thinking about committing suicide or you don't know what to do with your life. Like, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. So then they would say, but the sound of your horn, is helping me out. So it wasn't too long that I started to realize that, wait a minute, the sound of this horn is changing people's lives for the better. The more that I practice, the better I get, and the better they get, and the more people I can help. So they kind of humbled me and changed me because I was rough when I first started. The musicians used to tease me about, I would lose 100 fans right there because somebody coming up harassing me. One minute they see me playing the trumpet, the next minute they look back and see me, I have somebody by their throat. They're like, wait, what is this? So I had to learn that what I'm running is the business and my name is the business. And
listen, one of our guests that comes on to the show, Miss Lori Williams, said, I just want to read her comment. She said, we need more real musicians like you, Charles, because the folks coming up just want to be rappers. And she's exactly right. And the incorporation of music and rap, I think is cool because I think that something like that blends generations. I mean, I'm really a blues singer from the church. So, I grew up singing in the church, that's just one set of emotions. And then the lounge, I was attracted to that because it was the same sound, but with different words.
Different words, exactly.
One person was singing about being liberated or wanting to be liberated or being saved and being changed. And the other person was singing about being abused, being downtrodden, also about being in love, sometimes about being forgotten.
Exactly.
But it was the same music, just being done in a different place. So without, I want to come back and ask you.
What was it? Yes, I just want to respond to his comments. Just tell her thank you.
Yes.
Street performing has definitely brought out something because you had a stereotype, and I went through that. With people, they would speak to me any other time. Then when they walk in with somebody they feel is important, and they want to speak to me because it appears as if though I reached the lowest point of my life. But if someone actually take our time to talk to me, then I feel like I can learn something from them, and they definitely can learn something from me because I've learned so much from so many people, so many life stories. And I do clubs, and I do all those things also. I've been on the blues scene for the past 20 years in Chicago. So,
wow,
nice. I've traveled, been to Brazil, Europe. I've been all over. So it's not like I'm just confined to this, but I reached a certain level now, a certain point with my music, and then in my life now, where look, I'm deciding what I want to do because music is not the only thing that I do. I have a lot of other skill sets that I gained over the years. So I bring a lot of that to the table now, and most of it is really about helping change other people's lives during my time here on this earth, especially my son.
Listen, that's a perfect segue because everybody's on here to hear you play. Ronald, what you gonna do for us? Why don't you go ahead? We want to get you on this live screen. So you ready, brother?
Definitely. I appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's give a round of applause in the room and out of the room for Mr. Charles Pryor.
Thank you all so much.
You got fans all over already, brother.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I still had a mic on, so you all can just let me know if the sound is good, y'all. Does it sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds
I just
fine.
wanted to make sure.
That sound we had. Hello, Charles. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Good
That's
job.
amazing,
Thank you.
dude.
Thank
That's
you. Thank you.
amazing. The,
Charles, I wanted to ask you a
Okay.
couple of questions. Do you play other instruments?
Yeah, I'm learning. Well, my main instrument is the trumpet, but I also play trombone, and I'm learning to play the saxophone.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
and learning to play bass guitar. So my son teaching, allowing him to learn and grow and play different instruments has opened the door for me because it's hard for me to teach him without me learning the instrument myself, so I can teach him.
Okay. Now, the question about your dad. Was he in any of famous bands that me and Brian might know growing up in Chicago? Or
No,
were you?
no. You know what? My father played in high school, and then he left and he went to the military. So when
Okay.
he came back still having the foundation of the trumpet playing, but he uh, took the corporate America route, And
Wow.
music was just more like, oh well, if you. And again, me, I was the complete opposite of that. I'm like, wait a minute, I love it. I hate doing all this other things. I don't care how much money it's involved. Well, for what I love,
Uh,
So
so it became a hobby for him.
yeah, and he wanted to do it, and like now, and you know what, and this is why I said, I'm how things could be going real smooth, and you had that one thorn, you just had that one. That would be me. I would be the one that if I was an attorney, I would be that attorney that everybody would hate, that everybody would want to have. That would be me. So, you know, my father used this excuse, and most people say, "Well, I had kids, so I couldn't do it."
Uh-huh.
I said, so. I said, you mean to tell me that because you had kids, you chose not to pursue something that you really love? I said, if you had kids, that means that would have put you in a position to say that I have to make this work.
Yeah.
Versus,
And,
so, and again, I just, over the years, I've learned that a lot of times the way we were taught, the way we had to think, and then certain things, I mean, it's a different time. So I can't compare my life to my parents' life.
maybe your son, just to interject, maybe your son will be the best of both those generations.
Probably
Maybe
so.
he'll have academia and he'll have the music in him, and he'll just be the better blend of you and your father. And that would have been the whole reason for the whole point.
Exactly.
So before we run out of time, I want you to do us another number because our StreamYard is only going live for another 8 minutes. So why don't you do something else for us, and then we'll come back. And Steve, did you have another question?
No.
Oh yeah, and just to tell, I played with Big James and the Chicago Playboys on the blues scene. I don't know if you ever heard of Big James and the Chicago Playboys.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
I played with them for like 10 years.
Okay.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Go ahead and do something else for us, and then when we come back, we'll let the people know how to book you and where they can find you on social medias, and invite us all to your podcast that you do, and know that you're in the basement with McLemore. You always family, brother. You're always welcome here.
I appreciate you all. So I'm gonna turn the audio up and just try to find the song because I had the audio down.
Yeah, no worries. We got you. You just do what you gotta do. Lori, thanks for tuning into the show.
Hey, Lori.
And she's always there. The show is actually streaming. So Miss Lori Williams was at Mark Anthony's concert last night in Florida, and we saw the pictures of you girl out there partying with Mark Anthony, but I didn't see Jennifer Lopez's ass nowhere in the crowd.
Jennifer, she was with Ben.
Well, you should have stayed with Mark. All right, I'm ready for you, Charles.
I got you.
Yes. Charles, boy, you a bad mother. Shut your mouth, in the words of
Very
Jazz.
nice. Okay, Miles. Okay,
Yeah, so I
Miles.
mean, but yes, that's a Miles feel to it. And what is the apparatus on the end of the trumpet?
This is a mute, a Harmon mute. If
A Harmon muter.
I take that out, and I
So
take
if you
that out.
take it out, blow it, and let me hear what that sound is like.
Probably.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Really changes. It reminds me whenever I hear Miles Davis, his use of that, I feel like the music sounds very haunting and melancholy. That's
Yeah.
that's what it brings to my mind.
Yeah,
And
this is really cool. I mean, I'm glad that you showed me the difference because for laymen, for the people like I sing. Steve has a great voice, singers, writers, that type of thing. But it's always amazing when you have somebody that can pick up an instrument and make something that melodic reach into your soul and pull out. Which means that the only reason why we received it into the soul is because you gave it from the soul. So I commend you on making that talk. What is how did they get in touch with you? And I wanted to you're a video creator as well. Do you create your own videos or do you do them for other people?
When I have time, I create my own videos. I could do them for other people, but video editing is so time consuming, and that it takes away from time with my music. So right now, I have a 7-year-old son, so he gets the majority of the time. He's a fighter.
as he should.
Yeah, if he says his world is on fire, uh, I'm going to come running, and I'm kind of changing just the life tradition with that. So one of the things, real quick, that I'm adopting in my life as of last week, and just really with my son, is that introduce him to the game of chess. So I teach him that chess is not a game, just like life is not a game, but chess is another form of communication. So it's like a different language, and the more languages you can speak, the more that you can communicate. So more languages includes education. So with that education, with more languages is education. So what I do is that I tell them, when you're doing anything in life, you always want to win. You always want to. That's what we were taught. We were taught in life, you got to win. Winning is everything. You got to win. You got to work hard to win. You got to work hard to win. But there's a better way.
Yeah.
And again, I love tradition. I believe in it, but there's a better way.
Yeah. You and I talked about that thing that we couldn't tell our parents the stuff that they did wrong.
They did wrong, exactly. Yeah.
And then if you want to change the generation, you want to raise your child different. And unfortunately, our parents would do what I say, do and not as I do. So look at me doing something wrong, but you better not do it.
Yeah.
Or hear me saying
exactly.
something wrong, but you better not say it.
Yep.
What you need to do is do what I say. Do let me think for you, and let me tell you what to think and how to think and what to do.
Yeah,
And I
like
understood
robots.
yeah, but
They're
your
like,
conversation that you and I had about your son was a totally different, independent conversation that may sometimes fall in and out of disagreement with grandparents
definitely,
because they
definitely.
want you to do one specific thing. And I commend you for being a father and
Yeah.
raising your own son and doing your own black man business.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I had to battle with myself with that because there are these things that you were taught. You're always teaching and learning. So these things that you were naturally taught coming up, you have them inside of you even without knowing it and without, and naturally it'll come out without realizing it. So my motto now is that I apologize to my son right then and there, and I explain to him what I did wrong, and then I tell him what I was wrong with doing. Because if I force these ways that I was taught that were wrong, that I feel that was wrong on him, then I'm affecting my grandchildren.
Yeah.
Just like what my parents did, it's affecting him. So, the new motto is I tell my son, it's okay to win. You always want to win, and that's good. I said, but what's most important is for you to put yourself in a position not to lose. And I started teaching them that back when I was teaching them to play Connect Four better. I said, son, this is why I keep beating you. See, I put myself in a position not to lose. So everything that I put into him, never give up, keep moving forward, all of these things, motivation that I put into him, that is something that if we look at it from that point of view, this is not just about winning. But if you put yourself in a position not to lose, and that could be anything. That could be something that you wanted so bad that you realize, wait a minute, this is not what I thought it was. I don't want that anymore. Now you're going to open the door to want something bigger. So you're putting yourself in a position not to lose. If you do that, then you are guaranteed to win. So with music, imagine if my parents had that motto and they would have invested so much into me with music, said, no, we're going to make sure that you're guaranteed not to lose with music. Well, that means that I'm guaranteed to win in different avenues. So that's something that I'm just trying to correct, not just with my son, but also with the energy that I put out into the universe. And when I meet people, I want him to inherit good things, not bad things.
That's amazing.
And even for myself, like my father paved the way for me also. So the name Charles Pryor, it's still people that ask me, wait, your father wouldn't just so happen to be, because my father is a veteran and, just a lot of people know him. So I want to keep that tradition going, but just do better with it, to make my son 10 times better than me.
That's amazing. Brother, we want to be that village to help you on this journey, raising that next future king. And it's so amazing. How can my listeners find you if they want to book you? Give us
You can call me directly at area code 773-982-7105. That's my business number. I get my cell number out also. I'm not a criminal. So if you call me and you harass me, you'll get blocked quick. I believe in the block. Like, I'm real big with that on Facebook, Instagram. Like, I don't go back and forth. I just block. We could argue. We could disagree. I don't care about that. But if you disrespect me, then I'm just going to block you, because that's not what we, it eliminates the communication. But area code 708-982-1764. That's my cell number. On Instagram, it's Charles Pryor Media. On Facebook, it's Charles Pryor Music. And those are the best ways to contact me if you want to book me. To get me to come out, the price starts at $150 on up, and it goes up from there. You have to give me a deposit contract. It wasn't like that at first, but due to me playing my heart out, and then at the end of the performance, man, you ain't gonna believe this.
Oh, we got black man stories, man.
The good old-fashioned okey doke.
Hey, Charles Martin says a great show. We want to thank Charles and Lori for signing in to the show. And
thank you all.
Okey dokes. We've been okey dokes. So you can also reach Charles at www.charlespryor.org.
Yeah, that's in the.
That's the webpage. Right?
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting that rebuilt right now. Yeah, so the website is up and coming. I took down what I had before because it wasn't suitable for what I was doing now. The website was kind of outdated, and I had old things up there. So now I want to be able to have something. I want to be able to offer more than just music to my fans. Like, I'm writing a book right now titled All In. And it kind of tells
brother. You know what? This stuff. When you get ready for the book, come back to the show.
Okay.
I wrote a book about a year or so ago that's Love, Blood, and Rhinestones, which is one of the sponsors of the show. I want to thank you so much for coming on to the show.
No problem. I
We're
appreciate
going
you
to
all.
hang out in the back room with us for a few minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and read through the comments, but we want to give you an amazing round of applause and thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Charles.
Good job, Mr. Charles.
I thank you all. Appreciate y'all having me.
Okay,
Thank
buddy.
you so
So
much.
we'll be talking to you soon. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. Nice to meet you also. Take care.
Well, I don't know how to get you nowhere, so you're gonna have to stay up here with us. No, I got you. Hey, Steve. So
Magic.
Steve, yeah, magically that's the great show, brother. This I thank you so much for being my friend and being my co-host and believing in me and hanging in there with me when I have nothing and no money.
That's what that's what friends are for. If they have a roof and some food and some water for you, that's a friend. And we have both offered each other the same.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Charles Barton tuned into our show.
Chucky
So,
Billy.
yes, Charles Barton, our other good friend, my
Oh
Sagittarian
my
brother,
God.
birthday coming up on December 1st. He tuned into the show. Miss Lori Williams was on the show all the way from Florida. I don't know if she's back from Mark Anthony's concert. But today's show also was brought to you not only by my book, Love, Blood, and Rhinestones. You guys go to www.lovebloodrhinestones, RHINE.com, and order the book. Also, Steve and I are going to be sharing a book soon called Unapologetically Gay.
Gay by William James Dorsey.
William James Dorsey, Unapologetically Gay.
I should have a review. I should have a review next month for us. Just
We'll have a review for that. So we've got so much stuff. Go ahead, Star. I'm sorry, Steve.
No, it's coming out. It's turning out to be very good. It's very concise. It's written in a very direct kind of doesn't that make sense kind of way, and I think people will enjoy it.
So next month is our December, our birthday month show, which is scheduled right now to be December 6th, which is on the first Monday in December. Maseo Photo has agreed, I think, so far to possibly let us do our show there live, which means that our Charles Pryors and our Queen Kiana's and our Ethereal Noons and all our guests that have performed on this show will be invited out for a little bit of a mixer, a performance, and then I want to feed y'all and throw something to drink down your belly and let's have a little holiday cheer. I also want to thank my sponsor, my producer of the show, Miss Katie Lowe, with Rhythm and Flow Radio. Miss Katie Lowe's in the house, and she is the one that makes all of this possible. And you guys too can contact Katie about having your own show. You got to pay now. You can't come on for free. But without no further ado, we're gonna put that music back on, and y'all have an amazing November 8th, 2021. Yes. It's almost Christmas already, and I ain't even took down the lights from last year. Won't God do it?
leave them up and season a turkey.
Season.
Keep it
all
moving.
Right, folks. We'll see y'all later.
Have a good night, everybody. God bless. Thank you for tuning in. See you next month.
Thank you, Steve-O.
All right.
I can't get us off of here, Katie. I want this to go away. Steve, stay on there for a few minutes.
Make some Mexican food right quick.
Bye. I'm gonna put Steve in the back. He want me to.